Well, it was a bit of a rebuild, so we were starting from scratch. We knew we had a good squad, so promotion was put out there at the start. So it was something, one of the goals, nice and early. But we're looking at culture of the club, the culture of the team, making sure the dressing room was right, making sure we're bringing in the right characters for the team as well. And then it was just going to grow from there.
Donna's come in sort of mid-season last year. We used that time to figure out who we wanted to keep and who we didn't, and then it was a rebuild from that. But the club was pretty open with us in telling us what they wanted, and we did get there in the end. So promotion was the goal, but the rebuild did start from last year.
Yeah. This is interesting because we started to play good football. We had a good brand of football. We were winning games. We beat Whittlesea early in the year. I remember that, and that sort of was a bit of a stepping stone. And we were sort of racking up points. So by the midway, I said to Mickey, I felt confident that we were going to do really well because we were playing good football, and it was just a matter of we would get the results. So it was just building on. I think by the midway mark of the season, I felt confident, that we get something at the end of the year. Yeah.
Look, again, just piggybacking on what Donna said, we were playing good football, probably from really early in the season, which was good. The boys sort of adapted to how we wanted to play, and the message was getting through week by week. I think the Laylaw game in the first round was really big for us. A 1-0 win at home. We completely dominated that game, and we did feel that we're building something special here. But in terms of when did I think it was going to be it was secure, it was probably the week before Uni Hill, to be honest. We sort of were scraping to get over the line, and it was that game. Who did we play before Uni Hill? It was a 1-0. Williamstown. It was the Williamstown game. It was Albion the week before, I think, too, or we lost to Geelong, and then the Albion, the 1-0 win. So we were just scraping through. But that win against Williamstown, we had 1 3/4 feet over the line. So
Yeah, it was a big thing. We spoke about it early in the season or pre-season, who our leadership group was going to be. We knew. At that stage, Mario was going to be the captain because he was standing up during pre-season. He's a leader, and it was just getting a supporting staff behind him. So it was probably about 4 or 5 of them. But Mario had a great season as a captain, and he led the troops. He really did. Yeah.
Mario, man, what a captain, what a leader. We managed to pick him up from South Melbourne last year, so he's an obvious one. But I think, as the year went on, we started to lose a few players overseas. The dressing room started not getting disgruntled, but it started getting a bit harder. You lose a character or two. The heads go down after a loss, maybe, and things aren't going as you plan them. You always have that downfall middle of the season, or at some point during the season, and then you got people like John Limperis, a stalwart of the club. Frankie Favati goals, guys who have been at the club for so many years, trying to get this promotion over the line, just helping maintain, good vibes in the dressing room. So I think that was really important, seeing those guys who've been around for a long time, as well as our leaders on the park, your captains, and Callums and Marios and Lataros, everyone leads, but those guys that kept the dressing room together too in those tough periods, so that's something that stood out for me.
Challenges-wise, I think it's probably midway. We were playing really well, and then all of a sudden the squad started to disappear a little bit. A few guys had issues and left the club and left the team. So all that continuity of the team that we were building, it changed a little bit, and there was a new dynamic. Players were coming in, which was great to give them opportunity, and they stood up near the end of the year, but it took a while. It was probably maybe a 5 to 6 week spell there where we're a different team, and it was just getting them back on track. So it was a tough one. That was a challenge.
Yeah, for me, I think towards the end of the year, we're looking at the table and we're doing the maths and we're thinking to ourselves, all right, this is what we need to do to get the job over the line. We played a game against Geelong and it was a real sucker punch. It was a real challenging moment that week because we lost to a team that was battling relegation and we knew a win would just about seal our position in State League 1. And to lose 1-0 at home, I don't think we've beaten Geelong for 2 or 3 years at home. That, for me, I saw that whole week, we just had to maintain the focus and had to get the boys up. And a credit to them, they did get up for the following week. So that was a big challenge in terms of, specific moment in the year.
Yep, and I do.
Look, we had a game model right at the very start. We selected players that would fit that model. We actually thought at some stage maybe we need to tweak things and change it, but we stuck to our guns. We believed in what we were doing, and the players were, working to the system really well. They would work so hard on that. So we stuck to our guns. We said this will get us over the line, and the players coming in, knew what they had to do. So, we actually believed in the system all along, and it got us over the line in the end.
I've been here now 3 years, and the mentality has changed each year, obviously with 3 different senior coaches. And like Donna said, Donna's found the system that he wanted to go with. And I backed him up all the way, and the message was getting through to the players right from early in the season. And as players came in and came out of the squad, it was sort of a next man up mentality. So, drilling that message into them early in the season, and then maintaining, and backing the system that we set out to play with. Was really important. Like Donna said, we did get to a stage towards the end of the season where we thought we might tinker with them a bit, but we just backed ourselves, we backed the players, and that next man up mentality worked for us.
Yep, and I do.
Very important, it's good to have a good reserve team, and the coaches, that work for the reserves are on the same page as us, which is really hard at times. Very challenging for them because we're taking players from them for training. It upsets their training and all that, but they couldn't support the senior side enough. If we wanted anything, they just bent over backwards for us. So they were fantastic this year. Theo and Leicester really supported the seniors all the way through.
And I think a few of the young boys that came in and helped out with sessions throughout the year. I think a couple of times, a couple of them got a Guernsey on the bench as well during a period of time where we had injuries and a few players leaving. Theo being able and Leicester being able to give us what we needed and just at the drop of a penny be able to send these boys up and for them to be able to sort of handle a senior setup. Some of them haven't been involved in the senior setup, so just to be able to get through some sessions well, I think is a testament to them. They've done a great job. And there was never a no from Theo or Leicester. Even if we're kicking them out of the away dressing rooms, before their half-time talk so we can get our boys ready, mate, they were just like seniors come first. So, they played a massive part in helping us get over the line, 100%.
Yep, and I do.
Culture was a big thing, or is a big thing, and it's up there. The formations and and all those ones. You need the right guys in the changing room and everyone working together. So we worked on that, or what I should say is, we looked at every player coming in would fit in the changing room and fit into that culture. And the boys drove that culture as well, the leadership group. So it was pretty good. And it was stepping stones all the way, and I think we're still building on that, and there's still growth there. But it was very important that the changing room was right and everyone worked together.
It's a very hard thing to manage to keep together, the right culture, get the right guys in, and right from the start of the year with Donners and with Lee and Manny and Broider, when we sat down and we were picking players out, who we're going to get, who we're going to sign, who can we approach. I think we had a no shit bloke mentality. We didn't want any bad eggs at all, even if there was, you know, we were lucky enough to have Groiter, who would look at how many clubs has a person been to in how many years, and if a player had been to more than one club, every year, it was just a sign. So we just didn't take any risks this year. And then once the squad was settled, I think, the boys did drive it, and once you get a taste of, there's something successful here, was an opportunity to do something special, and you got the right guys there, it's the perfect recipe.
Yup, and I do.
Very important. It's always good to be there on a Friday night, and it's a good crowd, and most of it's our guys. So the support has been great this year. I think everyone's been behind us as well, which has been great. And then the volunteers. I mean, you just can't run a club without them. You need so much help to run a club. Everyone has to be on the same page, and I know Lee, Manny, and yourself work really hard. So. Yeah, very important for the club, and it was good. And the team could see that everyone was working so hard, and they didn't want to let anyone down either. So it was good.
Yeah, wow, what a club, man! The volunteers and the work that goes in, week out, just for our senior setup, and getting the boys up for a Friday night in front of some really good crowds. And getting juniors involved, that all takes work, that all takes time, that all takes effort, and it's a real testament to this club and what Lee and Manny and the committee have done. I think that's, when we say we're going up to State 1, it's us as a club, you know what I mean? And we couldn't do it without the endless work from these people.
Yup, and I do.
Yeah. Look, I am an Altona East person, so Altona East is my club, and I've been watching from afar, just missing out all the heartbreaks and everything. So to actually, get the opportunity to get them up this year, and there's been a lot of work outside of me. I was just lucky, Mickey was there before me as well. All these foundations were in place. To help us build on that, and it will go over the line. So really chuffed for the club, really chuffed for the players. Me, like being an Altoni's person, so I was just so happy for them. And then next year, it's a big one. State 1, it'll be even harder. It's a tough league, good teams in there. So, it's not like we're starting from scratch. We've built a lot of foundations this year as well to, help us for next year. But it starts from now. There's a lot of hard work that goes into building again, and see how far we can go next year. I don't know what that would be, but we'll see how far we can go.
Yeah, I mean, any form of promotion, whether you're a player or a coach, is massive. So personally, it's all about my development for myself. Third year as an assistant, I worked under a really good coach in my first year in Terry Teniatis, former player here. I've managed to work, with Donners now. It's been really good. I'm learning a lot through them. So to be able to be part of a promotion so early in a career as a coach is fantastic. I appreciate obviously having the gig. I appreciate everyone at the club for and the hierarchy of the club for keeping me on and having faith in me. But also, it's about taking the next step now as a club. You know what I mean? Gaining promotion is great as a coach, but it's all about the collective, as we say, and the club. So moving into State 1 next year, obviously we'll take a few weeks off and maintain relationships at home. But yeah, but look forward to sitting down, in October and getting the pens and the papers out and start looking at things again. And obviously, if the message is to go up again, we'll have a good crack. I think that's what the club wants. I think that's what we'll do.